Hi everyone, Cassie is here, and today I'm going to go over my second ranged guide that I promised a long time ago, and it's going to be for Arueshalae. Now this guide is going to assume that you are going to get Arueshalae at level 8, which means you will have to get her in Dresden, and to give a brief spoiler-free summary of that, you will need to complete the Priest of Desna quest inside of Canabras, as well as when you get to the church, you will need to make sure and do the Desna quest there as well. Assuming you are able to get her at level 8, this is how I would recommend building her to be an exceptionally good shot with a bow. She can hit things very often and she will kill them very quickly. As you can see over here, this build allows her to get to plus 51 attack bonus, which on anything below a core or below will hit almost every single time. This build works for hard difficulty. I haven't tried it on fair, so I can't say that it would work for that one, but I imagine it would work fairly well. So she will start at Ranger Espionage Expert 8, and she will come with the point blank shot feat, rapid shot, deadly aim, clustered shot, and also precise shot and many shot. Most of those are pretty good. Deadly aim, not the best choice in terms of just making sure you hit the enemy, but by the end of the game, again, you're hitting so much that it's not really a downside. And there are two ways you can go here. You can either start with Fighter Mutation Warrior, or you can go straight into Slayer. There's going to be 3 levels into Slayer and 9 levels into Fighter Mutation Warrior. The reason we would go into Slayer is for 2 reasons. Well, 3 technically. First, steady target, just +1 damage and attack. That's a very good thing to have. It's never a bad thing to have more attack and damage. The second reason is Slippery Mind. She naturally has a low will save in general, and so adding her dexterity bonus to mind affecting spells against her is very helpful to have. As you can see, +17 to most will saves, very useful. And the third is Sneak Attack. An additional 1d6 damage, and also this makes it so when she hits an enemy, it will automatically apply her studied target, so she doesn't need to spend a standard action using it on any enemy. So that's another reason. Fighter Mutation Warrior is because it gives us the mutagen ability, which increases her dexterity so she can hit more often, and also a lot of feats, and even weapon training. What weapon training does at 5th and 9th level, we grow to level 9, is it'll give us a total of +2 to attack and damage, and because we choose it here as well. We also get Bravery. Gains a +1 will bonus to saves against fear, and at 9th level, you get to choose, there it is. So you get to choose one of a few options. If you feel like your will save is perfectly high, you don't need to worry about it, then you can switch from Armed Bravery to the one that gives you bonus to initiative, so that way she can go even sooner than she already does. I went with Fighting Mutation Warrior first, and I got Weapon Focus Longbow and Outflank. At level 10, I chose Snapshot. Level 11, Dazzling Display. But if you want to, you can instead go with Improved Snapshot and Greater Snapshot before you get Dazzling Display and Shatter Defenses. So Dazzling Display, then I got Shatter Defenses at level 12. 13 was Improved Snapshot, and 14 was Greater Snapshot. 15, I went with Improved Critical Longbow. Again, this is something you can put before the Shatter Defenses and Dazzling Display. And at level 16, Greater Weapon Focus Longbow. We choose this because when we go with the Mythic feat, because this gives us an additional +2 to our attack rolls instead of just +1 from Weapon Focus, and we choose the Weapon Focus Mythic feat, so that way we get an additional +2. I'll go over that in just a minute. Level 17, we went with Weapon Specialization Longbow. because again, we can take weapon specialization mythic with it. Not as useful since we're not getting greater weapon specialization, but still not a bad thing to have. At level 19, I went with Point Blank Master. This is also another thing you can take earlier if you want to. The big thing with this is it prevents you from getting an attack of opportunity while you're threatening, while someone is threatening you. So if you were to attack somebody in melee range, they won't be able to attack you back. That's something you should avoid with her in general. But you can't always do that, especially when you're trying to use the snapshot ability to get attacks of opportunity on the enemy. We already went over what to do here. So those are the feats as I took them and as I would go through them. Now, if we go with the Mythic path, start off with Cleaving Shot. This is a must for basically any archer you're going to be taking. It is so useful in dealing damage to enemies. The first feat, go with Rapid Shot Mythic. That way she doesn't get the -2 to attack rolls for using Rapid Shot. I went with Ranging Shots with my 3rd level because that makes just, in case she misses, gets a +1 to attack roll every time. If you find that's not an issue for you at this point, you can always go with either Ever Ready or Expose Vulnerability instead. I'll go over those in a minute. Weapon Focus at Mythic rank 4. By this time, I think I had, no, I wasn't quite at Greater Weapon Focus, but I was pretty close to it, to the point where once I got Greater Weapon Focus, that's an additional +2 to attack roll. Ever Ready might be one you want to take at level 3 instead of level 5, because this makes it so you do more attacks of opportunity and you do more damage and have a bonus on attack roll with your attacks of opportunity. So again, when you're doing an attack of opportunity, you can get up to +80 or 90 even with this. Deadly Aim, Mythic with your 6th level feat, makes it so your Deadly Aim is more deadly, you do more damage with it. Expose Vulnerability, anything that lasts long enough with how often and hard you're hitting them, you'll do more damage. Improve Critical Longbow to increase that threat damage, critical damage. And lastly, the bigger they are, because again, never a bad thing to hit the enemy as often as possible, even though you are already hitting them pretty often. And level 10, this is only available basically at the tail end of the game, Weapon Specialization Mythic, to get an additional +2 to your damage. And that would be the character build, the Mythic path, and the feats that I would recommend for this. Also, if you take a look at the skills, she's also very good at basically anything she wants to be: mobility, trickery, stealth, perception. I would highly recommend mobility, max ranks in mobility 20, because there is a bow that I don't have on this build that gives you a bonus to damage based on the ranks of mobility that you have. So if you have 20 ranks of mobility, you get +10 damage. So instead of doing 58 to 65, she will be doing 68 to 75. Again, that is not counting any other buffs that you would be on the target to make her do more damage. As for the gear, Amulet of the Quick Draw to give her more damage on attack and damage rolls. If you'll see, you do not see any insight bonus in here. So it is not being added according to this. So this says +51, it's even higher than +51 because that's not being there. Web Strider gives you a +2 morale bonus on dexterity. Morale bonuses to stats are very rare, so this is a very good thing to have. Don't worry about the shirt, that doesn't matter here or there. This is another one that you're going to have so many things that give bonus to dexterity. Specifically, these boots gives you a +8 bonus to dexterity. You're not going to find anything else that will give you that big of a bonus. So the belt doesn't really matter other than for adding bonus to strength for damage. But this belt also makes it so an attack roll to confirm critical hit is automatically succeeds. So anytime she rolls a critical threat, you will automatically critically hit. Then this one isn't really that big of a deal. It just adds a little bit more to the bow. When you confirm a critical hit with a bow, since she's automatically confirming them, they do 1 to intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. Not a huge deal, but kind of nice to have. We already went over this one. This is a crown that you get at the very tail end of the game. If you have pleased Nocticula enough, you can still be good and do that, so don't worry about it. But it adds the charisma bonus to all damage dealt with ranged weapons. As you can see, plus 11 damage from Darkness Caress. So because she's got plus 11 charisma, adds a lot of damage to her attacks. This, just for skills, resistance. This one gives her plus 4 initiative. More initiative is always a good thing. This one gives plus 1 bonus to attack while using point blank shot, which I don't think that shows up here. So that's again, more bonus. And braces of lesser archery, plus archery, plus 1 to attack and attack rolls. Oh, yep, that's my build for Arueshalae. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. And until I do see you again, have a good one. Later.